Hi everyone, Grant for the Flame Learning channel. One of the biggest usability enhancements in the animation editor is the addition of context menus in all areas. Not only does this reduce the time looking for buttons, but it also enables an enhanced experience using the animation view. So in this video, you'll cover how to set up the animation view and use this layout as an alternative of constantly switching back and forth from the animation editor. When it comes to working with animation, you would normally switch to the animation editor to see the curves and the dope sheet. In most cases, this is fine. However, there is an alternative way of working with animation that you may prefer. Starting in the object controls, if you want to see the animation of a specific channel, you call up the context menu and choose Open in the Animation view. The view switches to the curves, and you can toggle the view mode to display the curves, dope sheet, and info view. This view is fully interactive, and in fact, not actually new to Flame. What is enhanced in Flame 2023 is that all the controls and operations are just a right-click away depending on what you select. Now you could swipe right to keep swapping between the comp and animation view, but I prefer to be able to see my comp and the animation view at the same time. This is easily done by changing the layout to a 2-up view. Ensure your object and the second viewport are selected, and switch to the animation curves view. So now you have a layout where you can work in the object controls below and adjust the animation without having to toggle between the different menus in the interface. When working in the animation view, all your interactive functions are the same, matching the animation editor. So you can select any channel you want to manipulate. And if you right-click for the context menu in an empty area of the view, you can adjust all the settings, including framing, filtering, and other default options. In terms of interacting with the animation, you can grab a keyframe or a bunch of keyframes and move them accordingly while the results update in the result view. You can also still use the slider controls in the object menus, but this is limited to the positioner on the current frame, and you either use the set key or auto key functions to commit the adjustments to the animation curve. Editing keyframes and their tangents is quite easy. You can move them around as seen earlier. And if you want to change a keyframe interpolation or its tangent behavior, right-click on the keyframe and choose the options from the context menu. The last points I'd like to cover regarding this workflow is the animation operators. I'm referring to functions like reverse, negate, bake, average, simplify, etc. In the animation editor, these are a combination of buttons and pull-down menus. The great news is that they are also part of the context menus. For example, to average this animation curve, you would select the channel in the channel list. Using the context menu, you can choose to average the curve. In the workflow with the animation view, you get the animation operators window where you would adjust the value to average the curve. Next, to simplify the curve, you would use the same method to use the simplify operator and refine the keyframes. So hopefully, this has given you inspiration to try out this animation workflow. Please note that all the interactive functionality you've seen with the curves also applies to the dope sheet and info when using the animation view. Please subscribe to the Flame Learning channel and click the bell to be notified for future videos. Comments, feedback, and suggestions are always welcome and appreciated. And thanks for watching.